You know, it's crazy. I woke up this morning super jacked up after a powerful weekend. Woke up this morning, no snooze button, right? I did have a crying baby in my bed though. Oakland lately, we're not going to go into that, but she just gets into these things where she's crying like right in the middle of the night and you can't like break her out of it. It's crazy. Not like screaming, she's just like fussy. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, so woke up this morning, boom, no snooze button, no phone, first thing in the morning, go downstairs, write down my gratitude, or pull out my planner to write down my gratitude and my goals. And there's this awesome quote right there at the top of my Rise and Grind planner. Right there at the top, there's a quote from Sean Peno, and it says this: even in the eye of the storm, there is peace and calm. And when I read that this morning, I thought, oh my gosh, how perfect is that, right? How perfect is that? Because the morning was a little bit chaotic, and sometimes this season can be a little bit chaotic. And so I just wanted to take a second and say thanks, Sean, because you're 100% right, man. Even in the eye of the storm, there is peace and calm, and finding that place in our life is so incredibly important. Yesterday, we were in a room on Clubhouse, and we were talking about be still, right? The importance of being still. That's right, dramatic pause, so you could be still for just a second. There's a book that we read all the time that says, be still and know that I am God. And in that, as we just celebrated Easter, I found truth. And I hope that today here on hashtag Rise and Grind, I can inspire you to dive in this week and find that time to be still and understand that there is peace and calm in the eye of the storm. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.
Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Monday. That's right. Love me some Mondays. Today is Monday, April 5th, 2021. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it will ever be Monday, April 5th, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most. And I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible, incredible day. Hey, I hope that you had a great weekend, focusing on the reason we celebrate Easter, right? One of the most crucial and impactful moments of all time. We celebrate it it happened over 2,000 years ago. And here we are still celebrating it today. Incredible. So hope you had a great weekend with friends and with family members. I hope that you maybe got some candy if that was your thing. I hope that you had some good food. I hope that you created some memories that'll last forever. That's really what I hope. I hope that you created some memories that will last forever. here in Kentucky, we had really nice weather. We got to be outside basically all weekend. It was really, really nice. We had some family come in from out of town. And of course, the kids got to run down their Easter baskets, right? They got to do that. They got to do a little scavenger hunt. They got to chase the eggs up front, right? All of those things. There was even a really kind of a special, silly moment where my daughter was out on a kayak and my son was out on a fluzel tube, which if you don't know what that is, you can look it up over on Instagram. They were out on a fluzel tube and my son had to pee. He's like, Dad, I gotta pee. I'm like, bro, you're out there in the pond, like, do your thing. And so in Savannah, my daughter's like turning her head, and my son just went ahead and stood on a fluzel tube, shows you how sturdy those things are, and peed over there in the pond, right? That's a moment that we will we will remember forever. On top of, my son also got baptized this weekend. My 9-year-old son got baptized this weekend, and that really wasn't the plan earlier in the week, but he was persistent about it, and he was like, Dad, I want to get baptized on Sunday because that is the day that Jesus rose from the tomb, and I want to rise from the water, and I want to experience that. That's what my 9-year-old told me. He said, I want to experience as I rise from the water, that feeling of Jesus rising from the tomb and what that means. So he's such a thoughtful young man. And so we were able to do that. We moved some things around. My son was baptized. It was just an incredible weekend. Also, Club 111 on Clubhouse. We do a Sunday service on Clubhouse, Club 111, and that was really, really, really special yesterday as well. Like, that was just a bonus treat on top of that. And so, great weekend for us. Hope you had a great weekend as well. Now, of course, with spring comes spring cleaning, right? You've got the spring cleaning aspect. And so we did a little bit of work outside. I've got to get the garage in order. The garage is a mess. It's crazy when you have 8 kids though, and you start getting outside and you see what they did all winter. So I was picking up trash out of the yard and doing those kinds of things. We had to do some cleaning in the basement. We had some flooding in the basement, of course. We just got the whole basement finished. So Murphy's Law, we got a little flooding in there and around the house. And so we had to do some work on that. And there's lots of stuff to do, right? And all in due time. All in due time. It was really interesting, though. It was interesting because as I looked around at our traditions, as I looked around at our daily actions this weekend, and as I looked around at other people's as well, like, I couldn't help but see some other forces at play. Why is it that we feel compelled to clean in the spring? Why is it that Easter is connected to eggs and bunnies and candy? Why did my family dress differently when we went to church on Sunday than we normally do every other time we go to church on Sunday? Why did my son choose to follow the same God that I do? Why is it that our weekend looked a whole lot like a lot of other people's weekend that were around us? And as I looked at that, the answer was really, really clear. Influence. 95% of the decisions that we make as human beings are subconscious decisions based on our previous experiences and the people, the places, and the things that have influenced our lives. And so as I looked at that, I knew going in that our series this week here on hashtag Rise and Grind was going to be influence. And so we're going to explore that. What exactly is influence? And how does it work? How do we protect protect ourselves from it when necessary? And also, how do we gain it to further our own missions in life? We're going to dive into all of that this week. We're going to talk about influence. I'm going to give you the tools, the tips, the strategies, how you can gain more influence, how you can use it in your life, and how you can ultimately be aware of the things that are influencing you to protect your dreams, your desires, your goals, and your targets moving forward. So we're going to dive into that this week. Before we do, though, we got to dance on this show. That's right, it's early in the morning. It's super important. So for those of you that know, those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to get that body moving. That's right. Get it in motion. Get that blood flowing. And get that heart pumping. Come on now. There you go. If you're running, I need you to run a little harder. If you're lifting, we need to lift a little bit more weight, baby. If you're out there in the streets, I need you dancing. I want people to look at you like you're crazy. If you're at the house right now and you've been being quiet, walking around sipping with your coffee, now's the time. Let's go. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. So let this get this body moving. This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, maybe you're listening to the podcast, maybe you're connected on YouTube, maybe you're behind the scenes on Instagram, wherever you are, say what's up, and I'll say what's up back. Fair enough? How you doing, Lisa Watts? Great to see you this morning. What's up, Janelle Griego? We've got Justine Designer in the house this morning. How you doing, Justine? Great to see you. I see Vicki Everett dancing up in here. Get it, Vicki. Let's go. I see Emily Galler is in the house. Rich Pintrick. What's up, J.R. White? Congratulations on a great month last month, and congratulations on your health journey because you're killing it. I also see I am Mark Ellis in the house. What's up, Caroline Carpools? How are you? Or Caroline Papula. Sorry about that. How you doing, Dr. Tati Warren? What's up, Cakes by Grace? We got Fool Around the World up in here again this morning. How you doing, sir? We've got Chris Zaid. We got Randy Story Shop is in the house. How you doing, John Carey? Great to see you. What's up, Doctor? Oh, I already said hi to Dr. Tati Warren. Trying to sneak in there twice. I also have Brielle and Justin, Amanda Thomas, David, Doctor. That's right, Dr. Sean Shapiro. We've got Johnny in the house. How you doing, Tara Murney? Great to see you this morning. As I flip on down, I see Veronica and Michael. I see Dr. Rose Schmidt is up in here this morning. What's up, Justin? How you doing? Melanie Seal Jones. Great to see you. We've got Aaron in the house. We've got Tina and Big Mike. What's up, Giuseppe? Robbie, great to see you. Evangelique is in the house. My man Tom Popolka. We've got Camelia Almeida is in the house this morning. How you doing, Barney? What's up, Cassia? We've got Win. Everybody's up in the house this morning on hashtag Rise and Grind, including Andy Prant, Don Stanky, Mike Overfelt, Tim Fair, Scott Simons, Wes Storm, Lou Ramirez is up in here, Gina Duffy, and many, many more. Hey, while I've got you guys' attention, I'm going to be going into my Elite Masterclass a little bit later today. Mondays are hashtag Rise and Grind Elite. We get together for 2 hours a week. If you want to join me, just a more intimate connection, opportunity to spend more time together, you can go to RISEANDGRINDElite.com, and I would love for you to join us. We'll have a session at 6:30 a.m. Eastern today and 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Also, I did want to let you guys know I set up a code for spring break. So if you go to glennlundy.com or you go to riseandgrindgear.com, whichever one you want to go to, this week for spring break, I've got 40% off everything. 40% off our planners, 40% off our t-shirts, 40% off our hats, 40% off our hoodies, 40% off everything. As we do some spring cleaning like we talked about, we got to move some of this older inventory so we can get some new stuff in. So 40% off. Use the code Spring Break to take advantage of that. Go to glennlundy.com. Use the code Spring Break. Get you some gear. And with that, let's head into today's episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. On my reading list twice a year is this book right here. It's the book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, written by a guy named Dale Carnegie. It's one of my favorites. I read it at least 2 times a year, and I also make sure to read it again anytime I'm getting ready to go into a conversation with someone influential in my life. Maybe it's a mentor, maybe it's a celebrity, maybe it's somebody that I've watched their videos. But anytime I know, maybe it's just an interview that I'm going into, whatever it is, anytime, I always make sure to reread that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's absolutely super, super important, right? It's been transformative in my life. And so I like to reread it so that I have this front of mind as I go into these conversations. How to Win Friends and Influence People is one of my secret weapons. Why? Why is that particular book one of my secret weapons? Like, what is influence? Well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let Webster tell you. Influence is defined as the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. I'm going to say that to you one more time. You write it down if you're taking notes. It's important that you do this, by the way. It's important that if you're going to study the English language, it's important to go up and like, what's up, Sean Galler? Great to see you. It's important that you look up the definitions of words. Make sure you have a full understanding of the words that are coming out of your mouth. It's really, really important. All right. So influence, the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or ultimately the effect itself. So what does that look like in your life? What does influence look like in your life? Who has the capacity to have an effect on your character, your development, or your behavior? Now, my guess is if you honestly ask yourself that question, my guess is you're going to say, oh, well, probably like my boss or the people that I work for or with. Ultimately, they have the capacity to have an effect on my character, my development, or my behavior. Or maybe just now, as you were thinking about that, maybe you thought, well, online, right? Online, the people that I listen to, the videos that I watch, the people that I follow or that I see in my social media feeds, like ultimately they have the capacity to have an effect on my character, my development, or my behavior. I know I see this in my kids all the time, man. We do not allow our kids, like our kids don't have cell phones. They have some iPad devices, but that was a season that we regret, right? We handed them the iPads and they turned into these bonkers people, like unrecognizable. So we had to take those things away. Now they can use them every once in a while on travel or whatnot. But they do have, my son does play like Minecraft on a PlayStation, right? He does have that. And Savannah, now that she's 11, she plays Among Us on her laptop computer, right? And we have noticed big changes, big shifts in their behaviors when they've spent some time playing video games versus spending time outside, right? It's a big difference. So clearly online, those people that you listen to and that you surround yourself with have the ability to have an effect on your character, your development, and your behavior. Now, as you ask yourself that question, you might have thought, well, maybe it's the authors, right? The authors of the books that you read have the ability to have an effect on your character, your development, and your behavior. Grant Cardone has had an effect on my character, my abilities, or my character, my development, my behavior. I've been reading his books for years. Obviously, Dale Carnegie How to Win Friends and Influence People has had an effect on my behavior. Because of How to Win Friends and Influence People, that's part of the reason, a huge part of the reason, I say hi to Scott Flansburgh, who just jumped in here, and I say hi to Joan Goebel, and I say hi to Brad Smith, and I say hi to Gail Beecraft, and I say hi to Rodney Rack Hatfield, because part of the things that I learned in that book is that your name is the most beautiful sound in your world, right, Heather Geis? Right, Heather Fox? And so when I say your name, it's more impactful, right, Coach Haney? It's more impactful. We make that deeper connection. So that book has modified my behavior. It's actually been a huge part of how Rise and Grind and Breakfast with Champions has been so successful at creating a connection between you and I. So our authors, clearly, the authors that we read, can affect us. They can influence us. They can influence our character, our development, and our behavior. Also, the scriptures that you choose to read as far as the spiritual element of your life, whatever that spiritual element of your life is, those words, those tomes, those are tomes, the things that you really deeply believe in from a spiritual level, those have the ability to affect your character, your development, and your behavior. And then, of course, the people that you're around at home clearly have the ability to affect your character, your development, or your behavior. I mean, when we start talking about parents, like parents may just be the most influential figures on the planet without even realizing it, right? Like people are like, I'm not an influencer. Oh, if you're a parent in any way, shape, or form, trust me, you're an influencer. You are a massive, massive influencer without realizing it. Your every single move, literally your every single move is creating neural pathways in the little humans that are watching you that will ultimately play a role in their childhood. And your moves will ultimately play a role in your children or even other people's children, even if you don't have kids. Like little people are watching your every move. They're watching what you post on social media. They're watching how you move in videos. They're watching how you act on a plane. I'm going to let you sit on that for a second. I was on a plane the other day coming from Louisiana to Charlotte. And as I got on this plane, it was interesting. I've never seen more kids on a plane in my life. It just, people just kept bringing the babies. They kept bringing the babies. They kept bringing the babies. They were bringing car seats and babies and car seats and more cars and strollers. And one woman had 3 kids. This woman had 3 children all by herself. Right? Mixed kids, beautiful kids, absolutely beautiful. I was talking to them in the lobby as we were before we got on the plane. They were wearing their masks and they were maybe 3, 5, and 7 years old. And here's this woman. She's got these little kids. She's getting them on the plane. She gets them to the back. She gets them sat. There's people carrying her car seats for her, all kinds of other stuff, right? She gets them sat. She gets them in. We're getting ready to take off. We're getting ready to leave. All of a sudden, as we're rolling out, I start hearing noise in the background. I look back, and there's some young lady in her late 20s that is throwing a fit. Because the 3-year-old's mask kept dropping off the 3-year-old's nose. And she starts screaming at this woman to get that mask on this 3-year-old. And she's screaming at her. And the woman's like, I'm sorry. I apologize. And she's trying to keep the kid in place. And there's all these kids on the plane. And they're watching this woman scream. And then the flight attendant gets involved. And next thing you know, they're escorting this woman off of the plane. And she's getting like arrested. They got sheriffs outside the window. I mean, it was crazy. I'm sitting here thinking, man, woman, you might not have any babies because clearly you have no sympathy for this woman that's got 3 kids by herself on a plane. Clearly you don't have any kids. We can go ahead and that's clear. You don't know what momming looks like, or else you would not be leaning into this lady. So clearly you don't have kids, but you're still influencing those children with your behavior. These babies are always watching. You see, there is no denying it. good, bad. You are a product of those that raised you. From birth, we naturally flock. We are codependent on those that came before us. And their decisions ultimately influence the very being of who we are. You see, if you're raised in China by Chinese parents, you most likely will speak Chinese. There's a high chance that you will value education above all other things. And there's a really high chance, based on statistics, this is not my opinion, there's a really high chance you will really appreciate structure and discipline in your life. If you were raised by American parents in America and freedom is their battle cry, freedom will ultimately become your battle cry as well. You see, we are all influenced by the people, places, and things in our lives. And this week, we're going to dive into how that fact should ultimately fuel your decisions in life going forward. Because though you are a product of the influencers in your life, that does not mean that you are a victim to them. Quite the contrary. You see, the knowledge of the fact that you are and have been influenced brings you the divine wisdom to become a victor in your life and not a victim. So I'm going to have you ask these 3 questions today as we close this up, and we'll continue throughout the week. I want to ask you these 3 questions. I want you to ask yourself these questions all week long. Question number 1 is, who am I around? It is a proven fact that who you are around will ultimately affect your behavior, your character, and your development. So I want you to ask that question, who am I around? I mean, let's face it. If you're around people that listen to music all the time, you're likely going to listen to music all the time. If you're around people that read lots of books, you're likely going to read lots of books, right? Like, that's just the case. So I want you to ask that question first, who am I around? Now, I want you to follow that up with the second question. The second question I want you to ask yourself is, how are they influencing me? Who am I around? How are they influencing me? Because they are, trust me. And then the third question I want you to ask yourself is, am I happy about that? Who am I around? How are they influencing me? And am I happy about that? That's going to be your homework assignment. I want you to answer those questions today. I want you to think about it throughout the week. All right. Think about it throughout the week as we go through this entire series. Because ultimately, like I said, wisdom is divine. And see, you, my friend, are a child of God. The God of the universe. The God that made everything. That God made you to be the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Best version. Not an average version. Not a below average version. The absolute, not even a little bit above average. The absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And the only way to get there is to rise each day with intention and purpose. Evolve. Constant evolving, right? Into the best person you can be. And ultimately, when you step into that, it's going to make an impact. It's going to make a massive impact on your friends, on your family members, on your coworkers. Shoot, you showing up here today has made a massive impact on me. So let's study. Who are we being influenced by? Right? Who is around us? How are they influencing us? And are we happy about that? And if not, I'll teach you how to make some pivots and adjustments to ultimately make sure that the people you are around are fueling your mission, your purpose, your vision, and your values. Because that's what brothers and sisters do. Listen, I love you, my friend. If nobody's told you that yet today, I want to be the first. I absolutely stinking love you. You are my brother. You are my sister. All right? And I'm cheering for you. So let's go out there today and absolutely kill it. Make it an incredible day. And then we'll come back here again tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. We'll do this all over again on #RiseAndGrind. Now, if you can't wait, you're welcome to come join us over on Clubhouse. We're going to be there until 11 a.m. Eastern all week long. So more motivation, more education, more inspiration. You can ask questions to me and all kinds of other panelists over there. So make sure you go join us on Clubhouse. Or if you want to get a little more intimate in our relationship, join me in Rise and Grind Elite. That's riseandgrindelite.com. And we'll be live there here in about 30 minutes. Lastly, I don't want you to forget, all right? 40% off spring break this week. Everything. You can go to glennlundy.com, go to our store. 40% off everything in the store. All right? All right. Enough about that. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow here on hashtag Rise and Grind. See ya.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, everybody in the land. Make them all get up and turn the volume up and dance. I'm up like a rooster about my future. Better get used to the routine. I ain't sleep, I'm living the dream. Feeling like I can do anything. Cause this is God's plan. I wake up, I thank the man. Brush my teeth and wash my hands. Then I get back to the grind. Got victory on my mind. Success and dollar signs. Now open all the blinds so they can't block my shine. Cause I am the light. Amen. Going platinum with this anthem for the AM. It take passion, massive action, dedication. We the champions, so it's a celebration. This is our time and that's for sure. Every day we grinding, that's for sure. If you's a hitter like Josh, oh, lock in with Glenn and tell a friend and let him know. We hashtag Rise and Grind, hashtag Rise and Grind. First thing on